Welcome and hello. I am John Halcyon Stin. This is Hug Nation Live. This is a daily gathering in the non physical. It is an intentional gathering where we share gratitude. And what's the authentic truth in us in this moment, and who is the person that we want to be as we head into the day. Not necessarily planning out your day or figuring out what you're going to do, but who are you going to be? And the baseline that we build from is gratitude. And often I start with a song. The baseline we build from is gratitude. There's nothing better for your attitude. People come together, they share the things they say. We do it every single freaking day because it makes us feel good and makes us hearts flow. If you've ever been here before, certainly you know. Good morning. Hey, look, I like improv songs because the bar is low. That's actually been a theme in my life. Is I would rather be given circumstances that make excellence like impossible, but like if you pull something out of it, it's like, whoa, hey, you did that, first draft, great. But if they say, hey, take 6 weeks and just polish this as good as possible, I'm like, oh, fuck. If you're here in live, leave a comment, say hello, let us know where you are, what you're feeling grateful for. I'm in San Diego, California. Looks like it might be sunny later, a little clouds in the sky right now. I am feeling grateful for being in San Diego. I had a chorus practice / pool party yesterday. We have scheduled practices with the whole choir, every 2 weeks or so. But then occasionally someone will offer their home, or we'll find a property, cool location where it's optional to get together and sing and practice songs. And yesterday's was at this gorgeous home with this incredible pool and view, and so we ended up socializing a little more than we were singing, which is way better for me. But incredible food cooked by Cielo, a beautiful soul friend of mine. And I got to know people in the choir that I had not connected with yet. It was beautiful, so grateful. It was an incredible time. And of course, I was there with Lisa. And so it's always fun to be at a choir-based gathering with her because there's no bigger flex than saying, I'm Lisa's partner. Yeah. 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 And then people go, how did you get... And then everybody assumes that I am well hung because there's no other explanation. Good morning, Juan! Where are you now? Are you vinegar rinsed and unpacked? You were in my thoughts a lot. Anytime I heard the word taco last week, I thought of I and 8 in Black Rock City. High Noon says, sending love to every being in this universe. Woo! Okay, well, that sounds like it's going to take a while, so I'll wait till you finish. Maybe what you mean is not like individually, but just as a being. And in which case, yes, and I would like to join you. Let me just check my audio stuff. Am I going through the... Oh, I'm not going through the right... This should sound better now. Do I sound better now? I probably sound better now. Oh, silly me and my technology. It's been fun recently as everyone I talk to is so curious about what this week away from Burning Man was like for me, because most people I know are very familiar that I can't shut up about it. And which it was clearly the case even while I was here with all the videos that I put up. I had so much fun editing old videos and commenting on how beautiful Burning Man is, and I got so many negative comments from people that it really made me want to defend Burning Man more. In fact, I just uploaded a video. You know, I'm gonna show you. I want to show you the video. It's just High Noon and Juan and maybe one other person, but you know what? I think if I don't tell you about it, it will make it better. They're short, like a minute, if that. All right.
Burning Man is a waste. First Saturdays in its 16th year. Join us in San Diego.
So I had so many comments about how wasteful Burning Man is and how it's just rich people pretending to be poor, and there's no, like, it's just such a waste of resources. And I understand how people could come to that, especially when they're being fed that from news sources that want to mock and belittle a potentially system-changing movement. But like, I just wanted to answer everybody, like, look, Burning Man inspired me to start a homeless charity that is still going, in its 16th year. So I can't accept this concept that it's wasteful. It changes people, and then they are better in the world. So if that takes a little bit of carbon use to make those transformations happen, and yes, not everybody there gets it. Sure, you can pick examples of people who throw their trash on the side of the road or do whatever, not according to 10 principles, but like, so I was like, look, First Saturdays is this weekend. I want to make a First Saturdays promo video, so I'm going to make it as a response to all these people who are getting on my nerves as they so confidently state the lack of value to Burning Man. No! High Noon, and I'm curious too. Juan, any updates from your burn? Anything you want to share? It's been fun for me to share how, like, even though I wasn't a Burning Man, it occupied a lot of my week. I can't remember how many videos I put up, but many of them got significantly more views than my normal ones. So I was fielding comments and connecting with people and having discourse with other burners who weren't at the burn, who saw my videos and sparked something, and discourse with people who hate Burning Man, where I was like, if they were speaking in a way that was intelligent, I would, answer questions or say, actually, that's not true. A lot of people said, BlackRock City, it's owned by BlackRock. If you're familiar, there's a BlackRock investment group that is if there's such thing as an evil corp, that is evil. But it's not the same thing. So, good morning, Chris. Chris says, grateful to be home and not killed. There was a homicide at Burning Man I believe still no suspect, that's my understanding, a stabbing. Chris says it was 3 blocks from his camp. I had a wonderful burn, but I'll admit I struggled with communal effort at times. I had moments where I thought, F this, can I just pay for some services? Can I just rent an e-bike? Because these streets suck. Except your money is no good there. Still, you recalibrate and dig in. Appreciate your honesty. I was talking with someone last night that, old me was so critical of people who, paid for their camps to be built, or amenities like that. Although I felt fine. I had a bungalow. I rented a bungalow with AC that was dropped at Pink Heart for my mom when she came. And I felt fine with that. And I brought in all her stuff. I made it as easy as possible. She was 71 or something like that. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, if I could summon the funds to pay for an easier burn, if I could avoid entrance and exodus, these kind of things, like, it would be a lot easier for me to say, yeah, I'm gonna make it. So I hear you on the, man, I want to pay for some services. Oh wow, Juan says that the murder that happened was at IN8, which was the location of I Ate Pink Taco. Whoa, I did not see anything, but that was crazy to find out the location. Virginia says, how many hours of live stream did you enjoy? It lit my heart each time I tuned in. Good morning, Virginia, or hello, whatever time it is for you. I watched very little, almost none. I watched Burn Night for about 10 minutes, and I watched Temple Burn Night for about 5 minutes. And Burn Night, I watched it from a Zoom room, the Hug Nation Gratitude Circle Zoom room. So there was people that were there that I know through a connection of the 10 principles, even though, like, Jamie was there, and she was in the middle of a week of what they call Urban Playa, which is a Burning Man week of events they do in Barcelona while the burn is happening in the US, which is just so cool. So she was there. So there's this kind of Burning Man energy, and there was other people who have been attracted to Hug Nation through Burning Man, an attraction to the 10 principles, and then they found me, and then we build this community that is, it's not a Burning Man community, but it is definitely influenced by 10 principles and shared values. So I watched that, and that was actually more special than I anticipated. And then the temple burn, I was not feeling it from the webcam, and so grateful. Lisa and I, we went for a night swim. And at like 9 p.m., we walked down to the ocean and went swimming. It was like a warm night. The water was 75 degrees. And I had a deep connection to the temple, and especially to the 3 people that I left messages for. Janus, Krusty, and Peter. Peter is someone who was not a close friend, but he was a many-year participant in the Pink Ride, and we'd had some really, wacky, deep connections when we did cross paths, and he passed right before the burn. And so, yeah, I love that so many people got so much out of the webcast, and I was so impressed by the quality. My God, I was on the burn night. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you can see little people walking around and the fire burning, and it's not what I was imagining when I was thinking of a webcam. It was very well done. Hello, Virginia in New York. So it's like noontime for you. Happy lunch break. Anyone else have anything they're feeling grateful for, or an experience at the burn, or experience not at the burn? I am grateful that all the people I was worried about that I've talked to so far that were at the burn, and I was worried about them or concerned, like first timers that I'd been helping, and feeling like, oh, what did I get them into? So far, all of the reports I've received have been positive. One report that was like, definitely valuable, if not fun. But several people telling me how just incredible their experience was. One person saying their best burn yet ever. Two people I know, they timed it just right. They showed up on Thursday, so they're kind of like end of the week. And my friend Jesse was saying that I knew arriving on Thursday, we would either be showing up to a city of people who are just like broken and beaten down, or a city of people who is so pent up and ready to rage because they haven't been able to because of the weather. And he said it was the latter, that people were just like, okay, sun's out, guns out, let's do this. And which I totally get, because I remember Mudpocalypse 3 years ago, which I'm told this mud was not that intense. It was just because it was broken up over multiple times, it had different effects. But after Mudpocalypse, they delayed the burn, I think 2 days. So when the burn finally happened and we could go out as a community, the energy was unlike anything I've ever experienced at Burning Man. The shared camaraderie of adversity, and a lot of people had left. So the people that were still there, was just like this really powerful experience. And so I can imagine that after a rough week, when, finally you could really, like the whole city had been edging for days. Chris says, I was grateful for the pink ride, but my highlight is I turned on my 3 RV mates to it and they loved it. Oh, woo! Love Ambassador, spreading the good word. Oh, that's awesome. Virginia says, and the camera would zoom in on the mountains and storm clouds. And I saw it like get close up to people too. Like you could tell who is who. It was remarkable. Guider Jen. Hello. Hello to you and Ben. Jen says, I went to a secret cheese party. It was so much fun. Was the party secret? Or was this some new cheese that we're not supposed to know about? Either way, I'm glad it was you, not me, because I am off dairy. Jen says, the cancer walk was so good too. I love that. Any other highlights of things that were especially special? I figured it was you, Moose Rooster. But you, with a new name, I figured, is that what you'd like to be called? Hainun says, I'm grateful for the talks about the temple. There's a spot that was a place overlooking a marsh and 2 bays. It was a space my grandmother and I shared. It's a place of love and grief. The temple just is such, I was grateful for the temple even not being there, because I was able to return to some of the feelings and some of the lessons that I've received in terms of integrating grief and shifting my negative association with grief and loss into integrating it into a part of the human experience and evidence of love. You don't experience loss unless you have something incredible that you have to lose. So every painful emotion, every moment of grief is also a reminder of love that someone has experienced. And I think meditating in that space can bring some of the memory love into your present awareness. I rarely think about Grandpa Caleb dying or being dead. I think about him as someone whose presence when he was alive touched me and is now in me. And so when I like in meditations, I will often call him into my mind and think of him laughing or something, and I'm just smiling. And the temple was one of the big places that helped me to overcome my aversion to feeling bad about loss and grief. I thought it was bad. Feeling bad. No, it's not bad. It's grief. It can be painful, but it's not bad. All right, Jen says the party was a secret. Okay, well, I won't tell anybody that you have broken the first rule of Secret Cheese Club. Jen said I officiated a wedding. That was amazing. Did you know you were going to do it in advance? Were you prepared? Was it like a real wedding? Or either way, it's so cool. I've done spur of the moment weddings, and I've done like legally signing weddings at Flya. And it's such an honor. In fact, in 2 weeks, I'm going to Big Sur for a wedding that Lisa is the officiant at. Cannot wait. Juan says, this was my first temple in 10 burns. I will never miss it again. Wow, it was beautiful. Oh, so you had never made a temple trip as part of your burn experience. Interesting. When I first started going to Burning Man, there was no temple. And then one year, David Best and his crew made a temple, or it was a structure, I think, and then someone on their team committed suicide. I could be wrong with the story, but and so they decided to make it into a temple to honor those that people have lost, and it was incredible and wow. And then he did another one, and then it's become just like we've got a man. We've got the temple, and we've got porta potties. Everything else is, who knows? But I had a couple talks yesterday just talking about the temple and really remembering that if that's all Burning Man was, it'd still be worth going. Like it actually, I might even be more a smaller crowd, but just the temple, that might be easier and more enticing for me. Heinen says, I go there and stand in that presence, so I 1,000% see that. So cool, Jen. So cool. Anyone, any last gratitudes? I am grateful for my parents and their senses of humor. My dad, we have a family condo that I stayed in, and he was like, hey, I think I left my keys there, can you check? And so they were there, and at first it was like, do you want me to bring them to you, or do you want me to leave them there? Because he might have been, so he goes, just leave them there and just put them on this one table. And so I took a big piece of paper and I put the keys on it, and I put arrows pointing at the keys that said key. And then I took a electrical cord and put it so it led to that table, and I threaded it through the house to the front door, and with a sign that says follow cord, even though he already knew where it was going to be. I just thought that it would give him a kick. My family, we have a family Christmas tradition that often your biggest present, there's a string. Well, it used to be a string. A string would be tied to your stocking, and then you would follow it through the house, and your present would be hidden, in a closet somewhere. So I was trying to invoke some of that. I don't know if he made the connection, but I thought it was hilarious. And I'm glad that I have a relationship that includes so much laughter. Jen says, I'm grateful I did not take one picture. I chose to live in the moment and save those views for my private memory collection. I love that choice. I know myself and know, for me, my decompression has often been a process of video editing and photo editing, and it helps me to keep alive the things, and my memory's not good. I don't think, people say, oh, don't speak that as truth, but yeah, I can just talk to people who are at the same things that I was at, and I was like, well, you remember that? You remember that? You remember that? Oh, wow. People go, oh, Burning Man 06, was that the year the temple was like this? I was like, are you serious? You have distinct memories year from year from Burning Man? Woo. Anyway, so what I do try to do is I try to make sure when I'm taking pictures or video that I don't get too caught up in like getting a good shot. I might set aside like an hour to go take shots of things during when I know the light's good, but otherwise I try to just like, oh, I'm gonna just pull out my phone and video for a few seconds, and so that later I'll be, that visual might like bring me back to this thing that I will probably forget about. And time again, that is the case. I'll be home and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot that happened. But even if you don't remember it, there is something to be said for just being present. So I applaud you and think that is an awesome choice. Jen says, since chemo, my memory is not great, so the things that stick are so special. Another thing that, just to speak to is, in case you're not aware of this, memory, people are wired differently in the way their memories work, and especially in facial recognition. There was I think it was a Malcolm Gladwell episode of his podcast, and like facial blindness is a spectrum. And some people, like there's some famous like politicians and stuff that if they met you 20 years ago at a rally, they'll recognize you again. And some people are like that. And some people they do not register a face with nearly the distinction. And I think that I am low on that realm because I am very frequently unsure if I've met someone. Big hugs to you, Dawn. Ooh, Virginia says, my mom and dad passed this year at 96. Oh. Temple 2026 is where I will express my love for them with my art. They gave me everything I needed to travel my path. That's incredible. And 96, what an impressive span of life. And my grandfather passed in 2007 at 94, just shy of 95, which is, if you're not familiar, that's Grandpa Caleb. So 2007 he passed. He's still a part of my life every single day. Oh, and that's Janus, who I also sent a tribute for him in the temple this year. And, I think I spoke about it yesterday or the day before, but the bringing a tribute to Grandpa to the temple was a really powerful process of honoring him for me, as well as putting some of his ashes into the wings of the paint job on the Hugmobile. Well, with that, I think I will express my deep love and appreciation for you a reminder to all of us that it can feel like the world is filled with people out to get you, but and there are those people, but there's also millions and millions and millions of people who are open-hearted and like-minded, and sometimes they just need an example, a role model, a permissionary to publicly be kind, and then it opens them up to being more forthcoming with their kindness. So let's be that. It's hard because some people do not meet it with kindness. When I did the pink ride last week, I was very aware of how difficult it was on my system when I would wave or give a compliment to someone and they would bristle. And you got to remember, that's not a failure. That is still putting ripples of good into the world. And you really don't know what the effects are. That kid who bristled, that bristling could have just been a reaction to a feeling he doesn't really understand. And it could percolate and incubate. And maybe the next party he goes to, he wears pink socks because he saw from that guy on the pink bike, all in pink, that, gosh, he seemed to be having fun wearing pink. Maybe I could be a little bit more radically self-expressed. Maybe I could be a little bit more open with my waving and saying hello to the people I pass on this daily walk to and from class. So thank you for being a love ambassador. Let's all try to be that as we go through the day, whatever that looks like and means to you. As the opportunities, as the choices, as the decisions, as the responses, as we have the opportunity to act today, let's pause and say, can I bring the energy of a love ambassador to this interaction? Wherever you are, give yourself a big old squeeze. Imagine that you are being held by me and all those here and all the beautiful spirits that were on Playa and are filled with so much loving energy. Let's hug them and hug each other, feel connected in this shared human experience as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and everyone here, thanks for being here for this Hug Nation Live. If you want to wait 1 second, I'll show you the other video that I was working on yesterday. And I'd love feedback if you think that, ooh, that didn't work, or I didn't understand. Thank you, Juan. Thanks for being a part of this collection of good vibes. Heinen says, be kind to yourself, and it will allow you to be kinder to the beings around you. Oh, it is getting warm in this room, so I'm going to take off this hat. It was nice and chilly in the morning. I'm really going for that Einstein look, aren't I? Okay, real quick. If you want to stay and see this video, it's very short. I believe 9:30. Okay, I think this is it. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'll give it with the words on it. Sure.
I want to remind you that a gratitude practice doesn't mean that you pretend that everything is always awesome. It's a way to remind yourself that at all times, something is awesome. And that light can pull you through the most extreme darkness. I'm John Halcyon Stin. I host free daily gratitude circles online and in-person men's gatherings in San Diego. I also do one-on-one coaching in person and virtually. Let's stay connected.
That little self-promo at the end feels real cringy to me, but I'm trying to get over that. I'm also grateful my friend Mike he gifted me this shirt. It's my favorite brand, and he knows it's my favorite brand, and he had 2 shirts. He goes, I don't like the way they fit me anymore, so he gifted them to me. I was like, yeah. But if you notice, lately I have not been wearing anything with color on it, so I'm feeling wild. All right. It's so weird there's such a significant delay with the restreaming, so I'm just going to say adieu. I love you. Awesome. Thank you, High Noon. Happy Tuesday. Oh, I'm also grateful I got choir practice tonight at our house. It's a tenor baritone gathering. That'll be fun.